Okay, hello. It's Delia. I'm so glad that you've clicked on. So, the topic of this episode is what is magic? And certainly, what do I mean by magic? so, um, magic, the short, quick answer is that magic is all the stuff that um, binary logic doesn't cover or explain, which is a lot. So, um, analytical thinking, critical thinking, they all have really specific and genuine, fantastic good uses. I kind of think of uh, analyzer thinking and critical thinking as the flathead screwdriver. And it's the best tool for a lot of jobs, right? But if you try to use a flathead screwdriver on some Phillip head screws, it won't work. And it certainly won't work when what's required is a Allen wrench. And my brothers were all mechanics, so they were always working on cars and motorcycles, and they were always fine with the way the American engines were made. And they got really pissy about the British and being on metric. And even the Italian, one of my brothers worked on Fiats, um, had a different, I think they were Allen wrenches or something even stranger. So the thing is, though, that when what's required is a flathead screwdriver, there's nothing better. And when what's required is not a flathead screwdriver, many things are better. And even if you uh, kind of take this metaphor out bigger, there are certain things that any kind of wrench won't work on. So if you're paying attention to how pansies grow, no screwdriver is going to help you with that, right? And if you're curious about tadpoles or babies, no screwdriver is going to help you with that either. So there's many, 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 many more things in life that are alive, that are involved in our living, that no screwdriver is going to help you with. And that does not diminish the value of the screwdriver. It starts to include all the other things that go into life and living. Um, and this is a kind of a funny progression where Newton, um, trying to describe to the world what he was discovering, he used the analogy, a picture, which is not a representation, that the universe is like a clock. And it's a useful analogy. People knew what a clock was. They didn't know what a universe was. And to say it was like that simply was making the universe more accessible as a concept to people. No way, shape, or form did he mean that the universe is a clock. um, there may have been some mechanical ideas about it, but this, I think Newton is the beginning before the Industrial Revolution. So now, fast forward to 2021, everybody thinks in machines all the time. Your brain is like a computer. The universe is like a clock. Um, Software, hardware. Your emotions are your software, and your hardware is your brain. There's just, for pretty much anything you can think of, there has been a mechanical Even if it's technological, it's still mechanical explanation or correlation. And the thing is that we are not computers. We are not mechanical. We are not machines. Machines aspire to be like us, but even that is kind of a misidentification and misapplication of concepts. So, magic is beyond A plus B equals C. Magic is um, the birds knowing where to go. Sure, science can give you some explanations about that, but the birds knowing where to go precedes science. So, like when they say that the laws of physics, this breaks the laws of physics, it's impossible to break the laws of physics because the laws of physics are observed explanations or explanations of observations. And it's just been observed enough times that it's been codified. So this is a thing about thinking and about everything as though it were a machine is only the codified, that which is turned into code, that which is turned into white papers, is validated as real and vital and true. And in truth, life is not codifiable. It is not white paperable. It is observable. Um, and there are scientific aspects and applications and observations. Uh, I'm certainly not knocking science. I love science. Science is like poetry. I'm a poet, and painting. It's all searching for the truth of what it is to be human, the truth of the human of the life experience. We need a bigger vocabulary because all animals are people too. All trees are people. All oceans are people. So we need a new word for that. But sentient beings, how's that? And magic is all the stuff that is outside of school. So in school, it's A plus B equals C, whether it's science or math or finances or MBA or anything um, beyond a liberal arts degree. And even that has been pinched since the 70s into 80s into having to be codified and um, white papered. And as the humanities show you, there's life is just this wildly unruly, unfathomable, um, uncontrol with a K, meaning it has to fit into little categories. um, Wild ride. And I think that's partly why there's been so much movement towards, in the past 50 years or so, towards controlling everything with a K. If you can define it, if you can name it, if you can quantify it, if you can white paper it, then it's predictable. And the lie there is that if it's predictable, you're safe. So everything that brings up and lets down, do you choose to destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion? Yes, I choose that. Destroy, destroy, disintegrate, and erase. Yeah, so the way that you are safe is by being your infinite self with this amazing body, which is the exact, it's not the exact opposite, but it's pretty much um, helter kelter to what we're trained. So anything in your system that says that if it's definable, if it's written down by somebody, if there's an ancient tradition behind it, if there's a lot of other people that have written off and said this is okay, that's more valuable, vital, and real than what you know to be true for you when you turn within. So anything that doesn't allow that, just destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion. Destroy, destroy, disintegrate, and erase. Because you know you is not your body personality. That would be a small y. But you, the infinite being, you know what you need to know for this lifetime. And you have access to the untold other lifetimes that you've had where you've had lots of experiences. And there's maybe some trapped energy about those past lives, but you can have the information without the emotionality from past lives. And you, as an infinite being, have been everything under the sun. You've been the best of the best, worst of the worst, and every little minute degree in between, sometimes at the same moment. um, this living thing, it's such, um, I mean, it's beyond even a holodeck. It's a multi-dimensional happening all the time. And the way for this world to operate has mostly been to control with a K and cut out and pretend huge parts of life don't matter and don't happen. I mean, in our modern life, it is evident that whether or not you can see the stars at night is meaningless. It has no contribution. And for anybody who's really in their body, they know that the importance of seeing stars at night. So everything that brings up and lets down, do you choose to destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion? Yes, I choose that. Destroy, destroy, disintegrate, and erase. That little phrase there helps to change the energy and move out the misinformation so that you can have more of your own information in any given moment on any topic. So, part of the reason of doing the clearings is so that you can get to the miracle and the magic that be you. So, I recently, meaning in the past year, heard, read somewhere that the chances of you existing are something like 4 in 4 billion. Might be even a bigger number than that. I get lost. And it's like a 4 comma and like 3 batches of 3 or 4 batches of 3. It's a big number. Anyway, the likelihood of you existing are infinitesimal. The chances of your infinite self um, just choosing and creating this body in this moment, in this time of humanity, in whatever place that you decided to be born in, whatever circumstances, it's 1 in 4 bazillion. And so you're already a miracle. Although we live in a world that says you're not, which is crazy. That right there is crazy. And for you to ignore that you're a miracle, for you to buy the story, whatever story you're buying, about how you're not miraculous and you're not magical, takes a lot of energy and it's exhausting. So everything that brings up and lets down, let's destroy it and create at all times a godzillion. I choose that. Destroy, destroy, disintegrate, and erase. All right, so magic is 99.9% of life. And A plus B equals C, and rational explanation and logic and critical thinking is the other 0.1%. And so when we're doing clearings and when we're doing energy work and we're including what's beyond A plus B equals C and what's beyond rational thought or the white papers, we're actually moving out into what's actually possible, what's truly possible, because most of life is miraculous and full of magic Things happen all the time that shouldn't happen. I mean, good things. Um, you have the news for the bad things, but all kinds of amazing, miraculous things happen all day long. Reminds me of that Disney song from my childhood about Cinderella and um, miracles happen every day, and they do. They happen all day long. And so when I'm talking about miracles and magic, I'm talking about pragmatic things. They're not things, but it's an energy, and it's the way the universe operates that is outside of the delineations and the definitions and the encapsulations and the limitations that make the world as this reality as we've known it possible. Because this reality as we've known it really does not make room for and include the miracles and magic that are abound everywhere all day long and that you be. So that's what I mean by magic and miracles and magic. And I hope that has illuminated things for you. All right. So until next time, take care.